Hey, welcome, my Aries collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. Welcome to your soulmate contract read, your romantic soulmate contract read from June, July 2020. I am your reader, Mark Angelo Lyons, Mal for short, professional witch, professional intuitive, president of Joining the Circle Productions, and very happy to be serving you today, and actually very happy to be doing these series. I find the Path of True Love reads and the Soulmate reads are my favorite, although I do like a What Do I Need read, new to full or full to new as well, but what you gonna do? Once again, if you are new to my channel, welcome. By the way, please consider liking, subscribing, hitting the notification bell, and commenting. It just helps other people see it, so if you don't mind it, I don't mind. I would love if you would. But we're doing something a little different this time. We're using a Celtic cross spread. My guides always change up. I mean, I'm probably always going to do a soulmate read and a twin flame read and a path of truth, you know, the stuff that I do, but they always change up the spread so I don't get bored, so you don't get bored either. So we're going to do a Celtic cross spread augmented with some extra cards thrown in to bring some clarity as we go. Cool. So keep in mind, this is a general read. Take what resonates, leave what does not. It's only 15 cards, so it really shouldn't be an hour reading, but with a Celtic crosses can get tricky. So we'll see how that goes overall. But this way you can check your own signs, your other signs, right? Your other placements, if you want to get more pieces of the puzzle. And remember, you have more than one soulmate contract, and soulmates are not always romantic, sexual. These reads that I do are, because this is the ones people want to know about. I mean, it's just basic supply and demand. I mean, my mom and I have a soulmate contract, but all I have to do is call her to see what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Usually, she's a Cancerian. Y'all could be a little tricky too. Cool. So let's get down to business. We're doing things very differently this time. The first two cards down are going to be from the Caroline Myss archetype deck. Technically not tarot, but then we will layer the tarot upon these two. One will be you. The first card down will be you. The zodiac sign, in this case the Aries collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, and the second card will be the soulmate. So we're not doing that masculine, feminine stuff this time around. That may come back, probably will. But I'm excited to see how this goes. I did my own reading. I was like, oh no. I was like, it was pretty clarifying. So I'm like, all right, let's do them. This might be a little TNT. So please remember to breathe as you go. Stay in the present moment, right? This way you'll be able to sense what resonates and leave what doesn't, right? And I will do the same to bring you the clarity, guidance, and grace. I actually had to say the prayer 3 times to bless the cards before this. The energy is really high. So let's do this. Breathe. There is literally before that first deep breath and then after that first deep breath. Here we go. My collective pantheons of angels. Stop giggling. Goddesses, gods, masters, and the higher selves of all involved. Please. I need 2 Caroline Myss archetype cards. All the decks that I read are always at the bottom of the description box if you want to check them out. So please, my collective pantheons. First, this is a soulmate contract, so please, the Aries collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. What is the dominant archetype that they are going to help each other heal from lead to gold, from shadow to light, this June to July 2020 for the Aries in this soulmate contract? The Aries collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Let's just yeah, I get it. First of the series. Let me get the other one on the table first, please. Thank you very much. Before I flip that one over, sorry for the suspense, but when you flip it, it needs some explanation. I'm just going to flip the card. Can we see the soulmate to that, please? Who is that? Who is the soulmate in this Aries collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, soulmate contract? Romantic, happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, sexual, intimate, romantic, soulmate contract. All right, here we go. Let's rock and roll. Aries, you got the prostitute archetype. Now you see why. I took a little time with that. I wanted to make sure that I edged into that. I didn't want to put it to you all at once. The shadow attribute of the prostitute archetype places material consideration and security above self-empowerment. It's one of the 4 survival archetypes. Everybody has the prostitute archetype: the child, the victim, the saboteur, the prostitute. Survival archetypes. It's how we learn how to survive, the power of survival. So you can see that, right? Like people who stay in toxic situations because of money, because of the house. I mean, it's obviously not about selling your body for money, although that, let's not get into sex worker talk. It's like, blessed be the sex workers. The light attribute, accentuates the challenge of surviving without negotiating the power of your spirit. So it's a survival thing and in a soulmate thing. Now, of course, survival means different things to different people. Where we are on planet Earth right now, still, we are still a foot in the old world and a foot in the new, and we're not quite got the full sole of the foot down in the new world yet, right? So that thing of, will you compromise your self-esteem? Will you compromise the truth of who you are, your heart, your soul, in order to survive? Right? You can see how that's a survival archetype. But the soulmate here is the judge archetype, the shadow attribute, offering only destructive criticism, misusing business, legal, or criminal authority. No bueno, doesn't matter, not good. The light attribute, balancing justice and compassion, managing the fair distribution of power. So the soulmate here's the difference between a soulmate and a twin flame. This is not a twin flame reading. Oh, I can't stand twin flame readings. I'll do them probably till I'm dead, because that's what people want. But jinkies, you need lots of twin flames to meet your soulmate. Just look at it that way. Long story. Links in the description box explaining all that stuff. I forgot to say that. I have to remember to put that on my list. These two together, they really have an opportunity. This is the wisdom family to really help each other heal. That's the difference, right? And it's just funny, the judge and contracts and stuff like that. So twin flames, you teach each other how to love yourselves individually, which means they can't give you the love that you want. Soulmates, you help each other heal, and they're satisfying. Watch those other videos in the description box, because I have a feeling the Celtic cross that's going to be laid on top of this will be much more telling. Now we know who the characters are. Let's get into the tarot, the Daughters of the Moon Tarot. Top 10 cards. Now let's pull them one at a time, shall we? Let's have fun with this. You're the first one, so I get to kind of do this however I want. We'll see how it goes. Nice deep breath. My goddesses, please. Let's do these one at a time, please. Celtic cross spread for this Aries collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, soulmate contract, happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, intimate, romantic, soulmate contract, June, July 2020, please. One card. What is the card that covers this Aries prostitute archetype? What is the card that crosses this Aries with this judge archetype? See how we're doing that? That's kind of fun. Sort of changed up. They changed up the Celtic cross a little bit. What is at the core of this contract right now, present moment? What's behind them? What happened? What's in there behind? What's in your behind, Aries? Crowning. What's crowning this contract? That's a fun way to say it. What crowns your contract? What's before them in this contract? Before them? Not before them. Before them? I almost flipped that one. That would have been premature. Premature divination. Not great. Here they have pills for that. The lesson. What is the lesson for this contract? How does the world see this contract? Who cares, but sometimes it's good to see it from the outside. And what is the destiny of this contract? And what is the, at least for now, the current timeline, quantum thread, whatever you want to call it, outcome for this? That was fun. That feels really, really good. The energy for this one was high before like I said, while I was blessing the cards. So, my prostitute archetype Aries friend, you've got the moon. So right now, your intuitive thing, yeah, you probably are totally confused in terms of an intellectual perspective and wanting to understand. It makes sense. You're an Aries, right? You're ruled by the head. You like, it's up here. It's like, I want to understand it. I want to cognize it. Meanwhile, your emotions are saying, have fun with that. It's not happening right now. Which means your intuition is probably really, really high. But here's the thing about intuition, and I know this isn't for everybody, but for those of you who it's for, it'll hit. Intuition isn't about getting what you want. It's about moving the soul forward. It's the soul pulling you forward towards your destiny. But if you don't take the call, just let it go to voice. If you don't take the call of destiny, you suffer your fate. So there's a difference there. So with the prostitute archetype, that's why they're saying that. It's like, get that you have faith in yourself. The prostitute archetype is also the guardian of faith, right? You compromise your faith by prostituting yourself. It's like, well, I know I should just go with this, but no, I'll just like, that's a form of prostitution, right? Negotiating away your path. It can be for material concerns or comfort, sacrificing faith for comfort. That's sort of the line there. So let's see, who's your soulmate here? This judge is going to help you heal and balance this. Well, we've got the Aquarium card, the Aquarian. So definitely, if not, I mean, yes, you could say maybe it's an Aquarian Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Uranus sign. Well, I don't think it's been in Uranus for that long. In a really long time. Had to. Definitely that 11th house, sort of like that egalitarian, humanitarian person. I mean, literally, you've got a court card there. So there is a higher point of view here. Aquarians are that unity consciousness. That's why you always kind of hear about humanitarian. But also, if you think of the internet, how the communication, and they want the information, but it's fixed air, stratospheric, higher point of view. So can be something spiritual here, metaphysical, but also can be very outside the box. Aquarians are, like I said, are ruled by Uranus there. I'll be nice about it. I won't go for the joke every single time. But is the rebel, right? Is the one who definitely jumps outside of the box, that fixed air, sky god kind of thing. What's going on at the core now? Well, at the core, you've got the Cancerian. So there is a strong intuitive pull here. There is, well, yeah, remember, this is your read, Aries. I mean, it's about the contract itself, but there is definitely a strong emotional thing going on here, but it is creative. Now, obviously, this is what's at the core of the relationship, the third position. So when you get a court card, which can often represent a person, it doesn't really make sense there. Unless someone's pregnant, which, you know, if that's the case, that's the case. But this is the sign of the mother as well, right? Like the divine mother, of the maiden mother and crone. It's the moon, right? Cancer is ruled by the moon. So there's definitely some gestation going on here in the subconscious and in the intuition, which might be throwing you a little bit off your game for a fire sign. In other words, there's some water going on here. What's going on? Where do you come from? Whereas the past, what was behind you, is something's done already, right? Like you just, either both of you together or individually, just cleaned something up. This is Shakti, the life dancer, the card of the universe or the world. So a cycle just ended in your lives, and you're sort of maybe not completely in, you might get a new place in your life as a result of that. But to go from the universe to the moon, that's a leap in terms of the cycle. But that would also make sense if you haven't stepped into the new as of yet in terms of relationships. You might be in that sort of back and forth yamaya of the ocean, the moon kind of waxing and waning, a little bit of emotional confusion, uncertainty, and that's okay. You know, the grace of humility. Grant me the grace of humility that I may know that I do not know, right? Because if you know you don't know, you usually don't. Well, you can drive yourself crazy, or you can opt not to. because we know exactly when we're supposed to know. And I wish it was different, of course. Well, we need to know, right? Then you need to know. That's why I studied divination. I was like, I want to know now. Which, don't you want to know? What's crowns? What's like the next step for this? Sort of immediate incarnating. Ooh, lots of thinking. Oh, lots and lots and lots of thinking. Lots of, well, but what if, but what if, not necessarily indecision, but analysis, which is literally what's written on this card. 2 fencers. Now, I've never fenced, nor have I had anything fenced that I'm aware of, but we're looking at things. Right? They're going, well, it could mean this, and you could do this, and you could do this, just like fencing, where they have to instantly analyze not just what they're going to do, what their opponent's going to do, how they're going to reply, or I guess respond to that, and how their opponent, and so you're thinking 4 or 5 steps ahead. Now, of course, when the ego does that, that's called anticipation and worst case scenario making. That might be a passing thing too. Remember, this is cardinal water, creative water, like you also want to say like amniotic fluid. Something is being birthed out of this, but also the moon changes signs and phases quickly. So this might be just like a passing thing for the month or part of. What is before you on the path is a lovely, lovely card. The 8 of Pentacles. I feel like if you haven't met yet, you will. Because there's a lot going on here. Because I'm looking at the 2 of you in the center of the spread. Don't worry, I'm going to take a picture and pop it up at the end. You'll see what I mean. That there's definitely this strong emotional undercurrent at the core. I really feel like with that, I mean, I'll do this at the end again anyway, but like there's a learning process here, but you're already bringing with you so much that you've already learned. This is a crone teaching a maiden how to weave blankets. Oh, and right by my finger there, you can see there's a blanket in the background, proving that the crone already knows what she's doing, right? So there's a real learning experience here for the both of you, or maybe one teaches the other and then the other teaches back. That's very symbiotic. Soulmate contracts are very symbiotic that way. There's always an equal give and take, but that doesn't mean people give and take in the exact same ways, right? Does that make sense? Like 2 teachers can be a nightmare. Just be a teacher. I know, unless they teach like totally different things. But then they'll try and teach each other, and sometimes that's fun, and sometimes that's a freaking nightmare. So just saying, right? So lovely. I mean, your past, present, future is really lovely here. I see something that's building and stable in that 8 of Pentacles, but with a willingness to learn, which if you're in this place of, I don't know, it's okay. It's okay. You don't have to make this great big huge decision, but you can have faith in yourself. And because you're dealing hopefully with the judge archetype who's more in the light than in the shadow, that this is going to be done in a just, as in justice. Oh my God, he's so just. And compassion. So that's lovely. I love soulmate readings. What's the lesson though? This is what you're helping each other heal. In other words, 7th position. This is what you're helping each other heal. Oh, criticism. Are you being a little microscopic? Excuse me, Aries. Are you being a little single-minded and microscopic? That, of course, can be critical towards yourself. Criticism in and of itself is not negative. Critical thinking, critical care unit, right? It's critical math, right? You're getting down into the critical mass, right? Like 100th monkey. If you don't know what the 100th monkey thing is, Google it, right? That's a critical mass thing. As well as in the quantum, you know what I mean? It's something to consider. It can also mean, intense focus, near microscopic focus here. So there is a lesson here now, of course. If this was a personal read, I would pull so many cards on top of that, but it's not. I'm realizing that what this is if you were a girlfriend of mine, or a friend of mine, I was like, can we just check my relationship? This is what I would do. I would do just like quickie lay this out on the table. But if you were a paying client, I would go way further. So that's your lesson. What does this relationship look like horizontally from the outside? Oh, which, please, we've got the Chariot, the Amazon. This is a force. Two of you might very well be a power couple, but interesting. The Cancerian connection. I almost said the Cancerian collective. It sounds like a really moody corporate group. Do you see the crescent moon there? Even in the traditional Rider-Waite deck, if you look at the crescent moons on the Charioteer, this is the Chariot. One has comedy, the other tragedy, right? So we have a Cancerian theme going on here, and particularly, again, with the card of the moon. That's like 3 lunar references here for you. So you, I hate to say it, unless you've got very strong placements in water signs or something in Cancer somewhere, you're out of your element. There's a lot of water going on here for you in this relationship. Very, very powerful. I mean, I would even say in terms of the sex drive, that there's an emotional connection with the sexuality here on this one, that it's not just, you know. Oh, there's so many things I could say that would get me demonetized on YouTube, so I'm just going to keep moving on. Destiny. Now, destiny and fate are not the same thing. It's a lead to gold thing, right? If Helen Keller... If really, the miracle worker is a perfect example. I love using her as an example because if it wasn't for Annie Sullivan, well, even if Helen Keller didn't accept Annie Sullivan, she would have been institutionalized, right? We would know her name, right? That's suffering your fate. Destiny, she took the journey, right? She became Helen Keller. She read Braille in 21 different languages, travel all over the world, right? You know, had an amazing life. Imagine what you could do with your senses, right? It's a context thing. You, my darling, your destiny is to deal with conflict right now, and that is internal conflict. Now, here's the thing. It is the 4 of Flames, and people will say, no, the 4 of Flames is the 4 of Wands. It's a wedding or a party. It's resting fire. Well, it can be, certainly, but it's a time to really look at what's coming next, which is the 5, which is change, right? Like 5s are numbers of change. So yeah, it's a conflict, but that's not necessarily a bad thing that you're conflicted about this, because like I said, it's very much a fire-water ratio thing, right? This is a fire card. It is the only fire element on the table so far, but you got 1 left. So what does that say? Where are you on the hero's journey? Which is another way of saying, seeing the 9th position, fate or destiny. Where are you on the hero's journey? This, on all this, you could say even on the path of true love, is that you're in conflict, and maybe both of you are in conflict, and I think you're supposed to help each other out. Right? It doesn't necessarily mean that the relationship itself is a conflict, but that you're both conflicted. So the ability to come together and learn together, it's definitely a soulmate thing. It's that safe space to do that. Unlike a twin flame where they'll leave you twisting for months for you to figure it out for yourself. I love this outcome for you. It's the card of strength. So, fortitude, emotional fortitude, courage, bravery, for sure. Coming here, this feels lovely. Now, if you're already together, doesn't say that you can't be, but you definitely turned a corner in your soulmate contract. Turned a corner, ended one cycle, and began the next, which I guess is the same metaphor, kind of, sort of. What we're going to do is we're going to add 3 more cards to this, right? Because that's only 12. We're going to pull you a Healing with the Angel Oracle card to ask who is the angel, the healing angel that's working with you both on this soulmate contract. You know what the last 3 cards are going to be. It's going to be an angel card, it's going to be a Whisper of Love Oracle, and it's going to be a Matt Kahn Healing Mantra deck card. Of course it's going to be. Why? Because it's me. My channel. Breathe. All right, they're like, uncross your legs. I'm like, I'm a Virgo. I was born this way. Oh, Angel Gaga, breathe. My angels and archangels, hi. Please, who is the healing angel that you can communicate through the Healing with the Angels Oracle deck by Doreen Virtue? What is the healing angel offering hands to both of these mates in this Aries collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign? Happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, intimate, romantic, sexual soulmate contract for June, July 2020, please. Who is the celestial being, extending wings wide open, hands extended to this lovely Aries couple, June, July. Oh, shoot. Shit. Say, oh, shit. Oh, shit. It's enchantment. Enchantment. Things are not as they appear. Beware the fee. There might be fee all around this one. What do you got? Fee repellent. Where is it? Oh, this is my fee repellent. The fae coming around me that are dealing with wrought iron. I'm a witch to me bones. I was just saying to someone today, it's like considering hemoglobin. How did the fae ever interbreed with humans? There's iron in our blood. Just saying, Terry Pratchett. Lords and ladies. The angel of enchantment. Things are not that. There's all sorts of synchronicities and divine beings at work here that you have no idea about. No wonder you have no clue. So don't lose your faith. Use your self-esteem. Estimate yourself. Actually, self-esteem is a verb, not a noun. Don't compromise your faith, right? We'll go over all this again, because let's move on. The higher selves of all involved with the Whispers of Love Oracle. Breathe. Higher selves of all involved with, which means both of them, the higher selves of both of them, please. What is the whisper of love from the higher selves from both of you for this Aries collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, soulmate contract between this prostitute and this judge? A judge and a prostitute are in a soulmate contract. Sounds like walked into a bar. What have you got for them? What have you got for them, the higher selves of all involved? Look at your pattern in relationships. It requires inner strength to recognize that you need to change or modify your behavior. Womp, womp, womp. I mean, that's not bad, but that's what you're helping each other do. And I would put that right next to that Four of Flames, that in your destiny, that's really what your higher selves are saying. It's like, look at your pattern in relationships. Do this one differently. Do this one differently. Learn, right? But help each other. Be honest about it. You know, you can say to each other, usually what I do is, I don't want to do that. Because the judge is going to be, that's totally fair. I don't know. I just... Cinda fucking Rella. Sorry. Working Girl references. No, not Working Girl. Oh my god. Pretty Woman. Pretty Woman. Hey, look. I'm surfing quantum fields of hundreds of thousands of people, if not millions. Cut me a little slack. Let's do your healing mantra from the Matt Kahn Healing Mantra deck. I'll even read it from the book for you, then we'll pop up the picture. This is really lovely. I love that it ends with the strength card that you got, Major Arcana. You actually have 1, 2, 3, 4 Major Arcana, 4 out of 10. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Breathe. As I now call to the Ascended Masters of Soulmate Contracts, please, what is the perfect healing mantra for this Aries collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign? Happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, intimate, romantic, sexual soulmate contract for June, July 2020, please, for this Aries prostitute and this soulmate of theirs who has the judge archetype. Expressing free will, Aries, that you are. My choices determine how brightly I shine. You have free will. You have free will. You're an Aries. Of course you have free will. Everybody has free will, except for those of us who've offered up our free will to the divine as servants of it. But, you know, hey, thy will be done. So motivated. Expressing free will. All right. He's going to read from the book again. I can't believe he doesn't have that completely memorized by now. Bite me. Expressing free will. My choices determine how brightly I shine. When free will is expressed, the quality of your experiences is based not on the actions of others, but on how wisely and lovingly each moment is viewed. So right there, your free will starts in how you choose to view things, is really what that's sort of saying. It doesn't match the unconsciousness of others to fight, or fight to have the final word. Free will conveys the brightness of your soul through the sum of your words and actions, even when responding to those who aren't acting at their best. And I understand that too. As a counselor, it's like you have to really keep your conduct, your words and your actions in alignment with your highest truth. Now, it's easier in counseling context. I'm a spiritual counselor. It's in your relationships, right? So there's really about here, you doesn't mean you have to adhere to some, this is for somebody, doesn't mean you have to adhere to old tribal dictates and codes if you're not feeling it. It's about being authentic to yourself and to your soul, really. This mantra is ideal for overcoming feelings of disempowerment, which prostitute archetype, fulfilling personal goals, and becoming more ambitious, which I've never met an Aries who had problems being ambitious, but there you have it. So a very, 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 very interesting reading altogether. I'm going to pop up the picture and we'll see what else the guides show me. Shall we? Whoops. Forgot my favorite pellet. Kicked it over. Here we go. Nice deep breath. Magic clap. Because we start off with you, my Aries, as the prostitute archetype in the shadow, places material considerations and security above self-empowerment. The light attribute accentuates the challenge of surviving without negotiating the power of your spirit. And I'm just feeling that has so much to do with you might have to choose between being comfortable and having faith, which all of us do, because it's just part of how we learn how to survive this world. What do you put your faith in? Who do you put your faith in? You have faith. Where do you spend it? Pretty woman walking down the street. The judge archetype is your soulmate here, with the shadow attribute of offering only destructive criticism, misusing business, legal, or criminal authority, which is, just horrible, the shadow judge. But the light attribute, balancing justice and compassion, managing the fair distribution of power, which means that power struggles is probably going to be something that comes up in this relationship, because it comes up in every relationship, but you're helping each other, so there will be a learning here, as we see with that Eight of Pentacles before you, that you are going to learn how to balance this out. I really like this. I like you two a lot, because we've got for my prostitute, my Aries here, the card of the moon. So yeah, there's a strong intuitive pull here that's accentuated with that Mother of Cups in the Cancerian card below you there at the core. Yes, it's uncertain, but there's a certain clarity this judge has, a higher will, a higher perspective, a higher point of view here, carrying scissors as the Crone of Blades, the Aquarius card, Ixchel, the Eagle Woman, does, is able to kind of snip detailed threads, which, remember, the lesson here is the Nine of Blades here, right? So to see things in the larger picture that other people might miss in terms of the detail, but with that Mother of Cups Cancerian card at the core of the contract right now, it's just the two of you could be very unconditionally loving of each other, very warm, very nurturing. Even if you have not met, there's a quantum entanglement there, that there is a love that can be done more through the internal yin aspects. Prayer, meditation, you kind of get the deal on that, though that might not be your bailiwick as an Aries, depending on its placement in your chart. Coming from this place of the Shakti, the life dancer, the last card in the major arcana in this tarot deck, Daughters of the Moon, the ending of the old, the beginning of the new, all that kind of stuff. So really, both of you, if you have been together, or perhaps there's a level of your relationship where you were always soulmates, but it might have gone from friend to lover, because this is a romantic read. But if not, both of you might have actually closed soul contracts with others, twin flame or soulmate, and are now getting ready for each other. And of course, what comes next in that fifth position, you poor thing, Two of Blades, right? Analyze, think. You're just going to be in your head. That's why I do think that mantra for expressing free will be helpful for you. Keeping in mind that you're going into what is before you is learning. You two are going to learn a lot about each other. And it is Pentacle. It does feel very tactile, very physical, very much in the world, in each other's presence in some way, shape, or form. It might have to wait until people can be within more than 6 feet of each other, but hey, you know, you do what you can. You do what you gotta do. You do what you can. You do what you gotta do. And I love you, Suzanne. Sorry, to take a sip of water. Your lesson, pardon me, is the 9 of Blades. So with 2 of Blades there in the crowning position and this 9 of Blades, criticism in the lesson, beware the overthinking of this. Unless it's really about finding a specific detail, but do you really want to hold yourself under a microscope even spiritually to find out what the problem is, to heal yourself? I'm a Virgo, I'm familiar with that process. But know that that's what you're helping each other heal here as well. The lesson is to hope you're teaching both of you, you're creating that safe space where the details can be focused on. And the interior life as well is probably honored in this one, particularly with that Cancerian water thing going on there. From the outside looking in, this is a powerhouse relationship. This is the Chariot. Might be hard to control. There might very well be conflicting energies here, looking at the card of conflict in the 9th position of fate and destiny. But with that Amazon card there, the Chariot, there is a harnessing of that and moving that forward anyway. And I would think from the outside of this, people would see the 2 of you coming and pretty much get out of the way. Because what manifests here, and this is like the most, like, I mean, I know that Cancerian card is very deep, but that Strength card feels very warm, feels very heart-centered, feels very like warm honey and sunlight. Just feels really, really sweet, but also really strong. Hence, you know, strength. It's gonna take courage, it's gonna take fortitude, it's gonna take strength, but this doesn't feel like it's at a high speed either. It just feels warm. Like summer. It feels like summer. There we go. Summer's not 1,000 miles an hour. It's 5 miles an hour. So a beautiful Celtic cross, but then you highlight that with the Angel of Enchantment, right? That there's all sorts of shit going on in the background with the gods, karmic, schmarmic, all of that kind of stuff. Let the fairies of the universe do their thing, although I personally don't trust the fae as far as I could throw them, but you gotta catch them first. With look at your pattern in relationships in terms of that conflict. Really big deal from the higher self, saying it requires inner strength to recognize that you need to change or modify your behavior or perhaps the way you are looking at something. With a prostitute and a judge archetype, that does make sense, that there would be that re-evaluation, considering judges are always evaluating on that scale anyway. But ultimately, your choices determine how brightly you shine. The mantra, my choices determine how brightly I shine, really does highlight your fire element here, that it is up to you. It is up to you what choices that you want to make, but make sure that your choices, what you say, what you do, your conduct, are in alignment with the best of your honor code moving forward with this, because my sense is, even if you falter a little bit, it's okay. You just do your best on this one, because soulmate contracts are, if anything, a place where you help each other heal. I like this spread a lot. Now watch every client for the next 6 months be like, oh, that soulmate read. That soulmate read, it's really lovely, because obviously I could grab other cards and just build upon it until I'm up to here with divination systems. So may the Aries collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs be blessed with all that they need in their soulmate contracts, June, July 2020, that they may heal, that they may grow, that they may become the best that they may be, that they may express their free will throughout the enchantment, looking at their patterns of relationship with great courage, learning, faith, compassion, and justice for the well-being of all. May they be so blessed. So motivate. And so it is. Thank you for watching. Please do like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and comment if you so feel it, my darlings. Otherwise, wishing you the very best and the very blessed of, let's say it, this entire summer. Hail, farewell, and blessed, blessed be.